The HiPipo Chronicles, this is an episode where we get to document the entire journey of HiPipo all the way from 2005, in case you've been following us. So we are right around 2009, and we have done a couple of episodes within the year 2009 because a lot happened between that year, right? So we're going to continue the journey into this episode, still talking about 2009, and that is on the HiPipo Chronicles. Don't forget to give us some feedback on HiPipo across all social media platforms. That is HiPipo, and that's across all social media platforms. My name is Mark Xtreme, and I'm here with the CEO of HiPipo, Innocent Kawooya. So we do this together on the podcast, that is the HiPipo Chronicles. Innocent, how is your week going?
Thank you, Mark. Probably one of the most exciting things
Yes.
I have seen over the last 19 years working at HiPipo is watching us doing HiPipo Chronicles.
Yeah,
it takes time and watch like everyone else that will be watching. I know there'll be millions of people following and watching us around the world, probably getting to billions sometime. But I enjoy seeing how beautiful the
journey has
HiPipo
been.
Chronicles is. Not just the journey. Of course, the journey is beautiful.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, so many things have happened, as we all very well know.
Yes.
There are not so many people we started with that have made even 10 years.
Oh yeah,
We're counting 19 now.
Making 1 year for any business organization is a tough thing.
Yes, and counting a decade is another story. Then when you're going down to 2 decades, we can boldly speak where Microsoft is, where Google is, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundations are.
Yes.
I think the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is making about 27 years or something. So we can boldly speak.
We still have a few more to go.
Yeah, we still have a few more to go, but it's a beautiful journey without a doubt. So very excited to be here always. Yeah,
so the HiPipo Chronicles, so what we do, guys, in each episode, we get to check out the year and then get into a few episodes of what happened or transpired through that year. So start off in 2005, like I told you at the start, but then now we are in 2009, and we've done a couple of episodes in 2009 because a lot happened. So something that also happened within 2009, we talked about aggregation and all that. We shall get a little deeper into that because that was just the beginning of the journey, and aggregation is at a different stage right now. We are still talking about it in 2023 because people are making money from that too. So something else happened, the Diva Awards in 2009. You happened to partner with the Diva Awards. First, what was the interest in the Diva Awards?
Well, thank you, Mark. For those who don't know DJ Mark, Xtreme. So many faces, but same person. We are not on Ijaz Radio this morning. We are on HiPipo Chronicles. So 2009, very exciting year it was. So many things are happening at HiPipo. And part of the thing that is happening broadly is diversifying. As someone who has listened to the previous episodes will notice that we are trying to create ways of expanding in how we provide digitalized services. So digitization, as we very well know, is a top agenda for HiPipo, and we've been speaking digital innovation, digital transformation. I mean, we talked about wanting to support Uganda cranes. And supporting FUFA in creating websites for all Super League teams. So we are saying, can we do this for other people that are playing in the same space? Remember, we are running HiPipo charts and they are growing very fast, becoming prominent. But we are saying the technology we've created, no one else has it. Can we provide it for other players? So Haji, commonly referred to as Mohamed Kimbugwe, who happens to be an OB of John Mark, is following a lot of what we're doing, and as a classmate, as a friend, and as an OB, he wants to do something with HiPipo, and we equally want to support. So he doesn't know how HiPipo can support them. The only thing they see at that time is they see there's a lot of visibility that HiPipo has. So they think maybe HiPipo can support in creating visibility for the Diva Awards portfolio. Diva, for many of us, maybe I think it's supposed to be directly related to women. So it is a women portfolio and it's an award portfolio that has a number of categories and a number of recognitions, ranging from music and any other creative arts segments. So we get ourselves Mohamed Kimbugwe and Kalule Kaggwa to meet and start conversations on creating some kind of partnership. And that's how it starts all.
Because the Diva Awards, for people that weren't at the time following,
yes,
or you were still young at the time, you didn't know, it was mostly awarding female artists in Uganda.
Yes.
And so 2009, you decided to partner with them,
Yes.
because we already had the Palm Awards, which was working both ways, helping all the artists in the music fraternity. But then the Diva Awards specifically was supporting women. So through that year, what was exciting for you, even to be interested in supporting the Diva Awards?
Well, like the goal we've talked about all the time of ensuring that we maximize the impact and the output that anyone can get out of digitization.
Yes.
And for that matter, we're now looking at specifically usage of internet. We are saying we have done so much supporting musicians, as we speak about this in other episodes, supporting several industries. I mean, we have done stuff for car hailing kind of functionality. We have done something for housing. We had done stuff for Music Uganda. I mean, Miss Uganda.
Yeah.
We had done something for literally every other sector, almost all the 7 spheres of societal influence. And we're saying, can we support these that look like they have a very, very special impact on a sector that we believe in, women? So, I mean, even just getting to grow and dive into a conversation of a partnership at that kind of level alone was an achievement. Why? Many of the players that had established either what they called social networks, because we are, without a doubt, we are the only social network that was living around East Africa. Those who had websites never had any dream of thinking that they could do beyond the website.
Yeah.
And they were thinking of saying, maybe we can create news and people can pay us for adverts on our website. Yeah. I have to mention, but for all of you that are creating this, please don't make that kind of joke. I call it a joke sometimes, especially for the fact if you're not going to create real content, you're going to copy and paste. You get a video of the minister who was caught in a lodge with a maid, and then you want to run that as news. It's not news to us.
Yeah.
So we are saying, can we do more than that? We have this discussion that takes quite some time. I mean, these guys are running an event. The likes of NG Films, George can tell you he was part of the regional tours, I think, in 2009. They filmed a part of them, so he knows exactly what was happening in that side of the world. And we're saying, okay, can we build synergies? Can we bring our technological understanding and expertise to supporting in growing what you've created already? And that is all we are discussing. But it's a little bit complicated. Not for Mohamed, but for Mr. Kalule Kaggwa, because he's from the diaspora. Yeah. He's been away probably for more than 20 years. And then much as he is exposed, he doesn't believe in the fact that internet and the innovation we have created actually have that much impact. So Mohamed has to explain to him a lot about the much we are going to get out of this conversation.
Yeah,
I didn't like explaining, not today. I don't really over like explaining myself, so I didn't do too much of explaining to him. I can pitch anytime, but when it's over explaining, I'm like, no, let me do, and you'll see what the impact will be like. Yeah.
And so when you have these conversations, because since they have interest already in what you're doing, HiPipo is already it already has this traction, being the only site in the space at the time. Yes. So when we talk about what you are trying to achieve with that, because later on they come on board, and both of them are on board. That is Mohamed Kimbugwe and Kalule.
Yes.
They both get on board. So now, what were you looking to achieve out of that, in terms of the partnership? What were you looking to achieve?
Well, first of all, Mark, there was a lot of mistrust in award systems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
sounds familiar.
You know that story. I don't know who among us here has ever had an engagement with a woman because of an award. I don't know whether George had or you did. I didn't. I have no kind of story like that. But what I know
we can't
is
speak for George. We can only speak for us.
But what I know is a lot of stories happen. Yeah. People faked being partners to awards organizers.
Yeah.
People faked owning some kind of say and stake. I mean, our elders, older citizens of this country, had so much leverage over people's daughters. I mean, because you have an accolade to give out. So we want to create a more democratic system for voting. We have been already successful in creating a very great algorithm for the HiPipo charts and the People Awards, that is an online recognition of HiPipo. So we're saying, can we use this technology to support you? Besides the only thing you want, they want publicity. You know, Mohamed Kimbugwe is a very great friend of ours. He worked with HiPipo, so he's a partner for HiPipo a lifetime. And I'll tell him one time, I told him, no, we don't want to be used like CDs. We don't want. Why? We want to create partnerships that have a story, that have a meaning. So when you come, and we're not a radio station that you're going to come and run an advert. We want to create something meaningful. So we should create a platform for you. So we had created a very amazing polls functionality. Real-time identity, allows for voting in every bit of proxy, every bit of location, and then allows for mapping. If you want to map by a machine, if you want to map by someone's IP address, if you want to map by the time, I mean, you can restrict someone from voting as long as they vote today. So we're telling them this is that secure for you. And then there's going to be a lot of transparency at the end of the day in the results you'll have. Then we're also going to save you a lot of money that you've been spending on an audit firm that wasn't actually very knowledgeable or sensitive about making sure that the results we have are actually reflecting of the kind of dream we want to grow, the African music dream that creates jobs and opportunities for everyone. So, I mean, we spend most of the time, we agree on a partnership, then we start working backwards. That is how everything starts. When we get to a point of everyone say, oh, that is beautiful. Well, whenever it was agreeable with, whenever it made sense to everyone, in the end, Mr. Kalule Kaggwa, I've not seen him in a while, would be like, oh, that's beautiful. That's awesome. We should be doing it. He had a very British accent. I'm not sure if
George
I can
George
is not here. So, and even George Kasache is not here. He would have helped us with the British accent. But we are saying, okay, it is well. Can we get doing this? Then we begin backwards. I mean, working backwards. And the working backwards is you're going to create these solutions, customize them for Diva Awards, but then you're also going to make sure you create some good training for the owners of the portfolio, that they know how to use it, they know how to communicate and share with people, and then they know how to make sure we get the most out of it.
And once again, we are looking at 2009 and talking about the Diva Awards and the partnership that happened between HiPipo and Diva Awards at the time. And what, you know, the awards didn't last. I know the awards don't exist anymore at the moment. And they didn't last longer, but the concept was a very good concept. And looking at awarding women in the industry, because I remember 2009, I think even Cindy was the Diva of the Year at that time, right?
Very right. I remember looking for a shirt to wear for the event.
So you do all these partnerships, right?
Yes.
And I want to get to the shirt, but I want us to also complete this part. So how in terms of what you're creating together with the two partners that you brought on board, how in terms of strategy you have designed all these platforms where people can vote and do this? What was the intake at the time as far as internet goes, and how was the reception of that?
Well, there was something very beautiful, I think, even from a geographical and a historical point of view, that anyone that wants to invest in Uganda and Africa at large should always consider. There is a very influential diaspora. I don't know how and when the diaspora will stop being influential to people.
They always feel that's the connection they have back home.
No, but even besides the connection, they have so much power over so many people back home. So
you know why?
I don't know. I don't want to say that. Okay, I don't know what
platforms like Sendwave.
I know mobile money. I know the other things, but okay, but there is that influence. And like we mentioned, over 89 destinations around the world, we're able to send free SMSs, email to SMS using HiPipo. Over maybe 150 countries, people have listened to playlists on HiPipo for the last 2 years or something. So all these people have very good belief, and they have so much desire for doing and checking out things that HiPipo shares as content and as information. So these people have created already traction. So they have a good share of corporates in Uganda that they communicate with.
Yeah.
So every one of these people, and God bless those people who are marketing HiPipo those days, every one of them that is telling someone, hey, we get these things on HiPipo, they are creating already very, very high influence because they do send waves. So they have very much influence over families, over their relatives.
Yeah.
So this traction alone is creating a good wave of sharing information. Well, directly, many people are still running to the cafes. You know what used to happen to all of us, Mark.
Oh yeah.
We have to run to Makerere to have internet. Whenever I am out of Makerere, I don't have any way of accessing our servers until when I'm back.
Until when you're back, or when you go to the cafe,
Or to a cafe which closes at 8
interesting,
or 10. Yeah. So we are in this kind of very interesting space, and we have an East Africa diaspora connection of some sort. So because remember we had content from all across East Africa. The Tanzanians, the Kenyans, the Rwandan people, some people from Burundi. We had about 3 bands. So when we get to synergize with Diva Awards, this new news comes from Uganda, goes wherever part in the diaspora, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in Sweden or Switzerland or Norway, whether it's in Iran or Iraq or wherever it is. And then it bounces back after a day in those conversations on MySpace, on Facebook now, on Google Chat, on Yahoo Buzz, whichever platform. Then it bounces back
on
to
CAC.
the people. And the other platform that we shall not talk about. So before you know, there is a lot of vibe that is coming out of the root of HiPipo talking about you. And then, fortunately, most media houses have adopted to having internet in their offices. At least the PD has a computer that is connected almost 24 hours, and maybe the anchors have access. So see, these people are very central to the dissemination of information, but then they have access to HiPipo. So everything hot comes here. Now Diva gets a free way to almost every other media without having to pay anyone. Why? Because we connect to the diaspora connects to the corporate. Some of them are the people that are working on radio and TV, and then they share the information on hundreds of radios and TVs.
What he's saying in simple terms is that at the time it was only HiPipo that you could get most of the information in case you're trying to disseminate that digitally. There was no any other platform. There was no other websites. You know, these days we enjoy a variety of websites and a lot of content platforms that which you can upload. Content platforms, sharing platforms like YouTube and all that. But this time it was only HiPipo at the time and Facebook. But Facebook also wasn't that big.
No.
So it was literally HiPipo. If you wanted anything about music, a picture of an artist, if it's not on HiPipo, you're not getting it from anywhere at that point. And if you wanted a song, still you'd have to get it from HiPipo. If not, then it would be trouble for you getting it. You have to go to a library and pay each song to get onto your memory card. Those people know downtown what they were doing at then, what they were doing then and even still doing now. So this is 2009. Where all this is happening. So most of the people, because there's the other reason for documenting this is that so that people can know that where the journey started from. You might enjoy, a lot of people, you hear them talking, we're inventors, we innovate things, right? And you're like, yeah, but I know about, if you're disseminating information, I know a platform where I would access a music at, I would access a playlist, I would access chats, and we would also vote and interact. And there's also a platform where, because HiPipo started from all these spaces, creating a social media platform, a dating site, going on dates, doing Christmas stuff at giveaways at the end campaign, the campaigns during Christmas. And then it has gone around morphing into promotion of digital inclusion and financial inclusion. So all this starts from 2005, and now we're in 2023. Sometimes I think it's good to always document this, and and I think it helps when people are able to listen to these conversations of where this started, that literally people had awards, but even convincing them to partner with you, they didn't know what this would mean. You're saying people are voting online. How does that work? So I think that's an interesting story. So in conclusion, how did you get the shot to go to the awards?
Well, long story short, I didn't borrow it from George. And I don't think I borrowed it, but I hope I'll get one of those pictures. So that George can share it in this podcast, and then people can see how smartly I looked. I never owned a jacket or a coat at that time.
Now, quick question: was the shirt oversized or it was?
It was oversized. You got that one. So it was oversized, and I had to present an award to Irene Nambiru.
Yes.
I remember everything was almost pink. She put on a nice pink dress that day.
Yeah.
But Ahmed of God was in charge. So somehow
the Holy Spirit was in there.
Exactly.
This is the HiPipo Chronicles, the podcast. We are with the CEO of HiPipo, Innocent Kawooya. My name is Mark Xtreme. Until next time, get more of the episodes where you got this one. And we are on all podcast apps. Just search for HiPipo Chronicles. And also on social media platforms, we need your feedback if you're interacting with HiPipo at the time. And that's HiPipo across all social media platforms. Until the next episode, which is soon, we say bye for now.